Hey, everyone. Ridden here. Thank you for coming. And today we're going to be taking a deeper look at Marvel Studios' latest Disney Plus show, What If? Episodes 1 and Episodes 2. So let's get into it. Hey. Thank you, everybody, for coming back in. Uh, let's see here. I'll go ahead and get my screen thrown up so we can start talking about these episodes. So I'll come right out and say that episode 1 for What If, I didn't exactly enjoy it a ton. Um, I know it was about Captain Carter, so I went into that. I really liked Haley Atwell and the role that she put on, and as that particular character. But I can't say that I was really looking forward to it too much. Let's see here. So the really cool thing that I found out so far about this show, right, is that whenever Marvel does anything, they tend to do it full out, right? So with all of the Disney Plus shows that we've seen so far, they all start out with the Marvel logo that we've seen throughout the entire franchise, throughout the entire universe, 20 plus movies and TV shows. Now, they all start out with a logo attuned to the show. So with Loki, we saw the green logo. Same thing with WandaVision, same thing with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So what I thought was really cool right off the back with the What If episodes, with episode 1 and episode 2, you can actually watch the logo change from the normal monochromatic logo they have to one that's actually animated. So I found all of this really cool. I've really enjoyed the fact that the opening Jeffrey Wright. I've enjoyed him in everything that I've seen him in thus far. He's just kind of got one of those voices that puts you to sleep. So when they cast him as the Watcher, it was kind of eyebrow raising for me because typically in the comics the Watchers are multiple people. We know that Stan Lee has actually been cast in the MCU. As an agent of the Watchers, we saw that in one of the Guardians of the Galaxy post credits. So I'm going to be interested to see if there are additional Watchers past Jeffrey Wright that maybe have a difference in opinion in terms of how he's going to choose to handle all of these different realities and different multiverses branching out. Because I would imagine at some point the Watcher is going to intervene. So with the opening of What If and what we've seen so far with Jeffrey Wright's voiceover, we have a shot of Black Panther in his Civil War outfit. And we just get several shots of a lot of the characters that we've seen in the MCU so far. So we see Captain Marvel, we see Iron Man, we actually see Thor. And this actually isn't the Thor that we're familiar with. This is a different version of Thor. From what we've been told, this is Party Thor. So I'm looking forward to seeing this exact Thor. We see Black Widow, which is very interesting considering the situation that Marvel is in right now with Scarlett Johansson. But the character has been there for us, so I don't imagine they would just decide to X her out. We see Captain America in one of his traditional outfits, and then we sort of get to this very interesting thing where we see the different shards of reality, right? Before they shatter. We eventually see these shards of reality shatter. So, right here, we see Black Panther's mom, we see Yondu, and as we sort of spread out, we start to see more and more. We see Doctor Strange over here on the right. We see the Hydra logo over here on the left. We also see, Captain Carter here, right as she comes out of the chamber that Steve Rogers was originally in. Let's see, we've got Black Panther here again. We've got T'Chaka. What I found really interesting about this, we're really looking at this because there's only so much that we know about the episodes going forward. You can look a little bit to the left and see some of the zombie action that we'll be getting a little bit later in the season. But my favorite shot about this is if you look here up in the top corner, we actually see Killmonger with the arc reactor in the middle of his chest. So I find that very, very interesting because we do know that Killmonger and Iron Man are going to cross paths at some point soon. We also see Obadiah Stane here. We've got Vision. And as these shards of reality begin to break, we see Captain Carter's shard come towards us, which makes sense because episode 1 was all about Captain Carter. So to go ahead and just give you my quick rundown of what I thought about episode 1. Coming into episode 1, there were a couple of things that were sort of on my mind, right? So let's just keep these things in mind. Thus far this year, we've already gotten an amazing, fantastic take on superhero animation, right? And when I say that, you're wondering, what exactly are you talking about? For anyone that's really into this world, not just Marvel, not just DC, but just the superhero fandom in general, I'm sure everyone has seen Invincible at this point. If you have not seen Invincible at this point, please jump over to Amazon Prime and go and watch Invincible. Invincible was amazing. The story that they laid out in Invincible was so good that when you started an episode, you got so took up in it that it really didn't occur to you that it was animation. I think there's a certain like exuberance and hype that we tend to get whenever our favorite characters are going to be brought from the comic book into live action. And with Invincible, none of that was there, right? Like at no point when I was watching Invincible did I go, "Hey, I really wish Omni Man was in live action." The story just completely took you away. And if you have seen it, then you know the turn that takes place at the end of episode 1. You know how brutal that was, and you know just how completely turn the heel it was, and how it just made that entire series easily one of the best superhero products to come out in the past 2 years. So I came into What If sort of with that on my mind, saying this could be Marvel's first misstep in terms of what they've done in the MCU. Now, granted, arguably, there have been tons of things that have come out that, some people like more than others. Some people aren't a fan of the Ant-Man movies. Some people aren't a fan of Captain Marvel. Some people aren't a fan of Black Panther, believe it or not. But the majority of comic fandom has enjoyed what Marvel has rolled out, right? So watching episode 1 last week, I was a little bit nervous because there hasn't been too much hype from the fandom about What If, and I just wanted to see how that was gonna play out, because with WandaVision, everybody was incredibly excited from episode 1 through the finale. And with Captain America and the Winter Soldier, we're gonna call it Captain America and the Winter Soldier now because we know how it plays out. Everybody was excited from the first episode all the way through the end. And the same way with Loki. Everybody was excited from the first episode all the way through the finale. But coming into What If, there really wasn't that much excitement. And as I watched the first episode from beginning to end, I was trying so hard to get into it, and it just never really happened for me. So rolling into this episode, because I want to get to season 2. I mean, because I want to get to episode 2. So, just going through episode 1, since we didn't get a chance to cover it last week. Episode 1 leans really heavily basically on an already established series of events we've already seen. We've all seen Captain America, the first Avenger. We know how it plays out. We know Red Skull is the villain. We know Steve Rogers is the scrawny guy from, Brooklyn, who he's going to transform into Captain America, and he becomes this big symbol of hope and peace, only to eventually disappear into the ice. What If shows us is that the singular pivotal moment that changed all of these events and cascaded all of the change down the line is that when Dr. Erskine turns to Peggy Carter and says, "Hey, would you be more comfortable watching from the booth?" Peggy instead of deciding to go and be more comfortable up in the booth, air quotes, she decides to stand up for herself and say, "Hey, I'm comfortable watching right from where I'm at." And because she does that, she's within eye shot and is able to see the Hydra agent in the bomb that he has, and she doesn't get a chance to stop it, but because she is there, she does cause that little bit of havoc that just changes things just a bit, so that instead of Steve transforming, Steve actually gets shot, and because he's shot, he's now wounded and he can't go through the transformation. So everybody's scrambling. It has to happen now. And so Peggy gets in the machine instead. And what I really liked about this, to take a moment here and to talk about this, what I really liked about this is that they didn't just make her buff; they just made her an overall bigger person. Like when she comes out of this machine, she's yoked, you know. And I remember immediately looking at this and saying it's going to be really interesting to see how they're going to continue to carry the thread of Steve and Peggy's romance throughout this entire, throughout this entire thing, throughout this entire episode when she's three times as big as him. And they do, and it's very believable. So going forward, we're just going through all of these shots here. And the Watcher is doing a lot of voiceover during this time as well. So keep that in mind. You're looking down here. We got Peggy, Stanley Tucci. And another thing I really want to commend Marvel on with this What If show so far is that they've done an amazing job of bringing back all of the original actors to reprise these roles. Just through the first two episodes, it's been so amazing, just to watch the credits in the beginning and the end, to see all of these main characters coming back to reprise these roles in animation, you know. So let's see. Just gonna jump back here. And this is where the scene of the explosion takes place. One second, everyone. I'm going to put you on a brief hold here. Hang around.